Hello there, welcome back to part 2 of Reloaded. I'm going to crack on straight on with this. Recently I met up with Rob Yescombe from Free Radical Design. I wanted to know what it was like to be a scriptwriter for video games.
Sounds dead easy.
Hiya, Jerry.
So can you tell us a little bit about your involvement and what you're working on at Free Radical at the moment?
My role there is I'm the in-house screenwriter, so I'm there purely in a creative capacity to write the screenplays that they work the games from. Currently we're working on a sort of a contemporary war drama called Haze, which is a first-person shooter. And I'm also working on a top-secret project with LucasArts.
Did you make that transfer then, first of all, from television and radio writing into gaming script writing?
It's all, everything in life is about, or any measure of success one gets in life isn't just about talent, hopefully, you know, that's part of it, but it's about networking. It really is who you know. And I had to go out there and I decided I wanted to be involved in games, and so I decided to network and find those people, and that's what happened.
So you became the Madonna of the gaming world at that stage?
Yeah, I was a social whore, Jerry. I'll be straight with you. But you know, it facilitated what I wanted, which was to get into a position where I can be involved in games, because this is the best place for a writer to be right now.
Join us and fight the good fight.
When writers say to me, well, how do you make the transition? Ultimately, some people want to write games because they know it's a great commercial venture and it's a progressive business.
Yeah.
But if I said to them, if you don't know games, if you're not interested in games, don't try and write them, because this is an industry of enthusiasts and they will smell you out. So I've been gaming ever since I could, you know, ever since I grew these opposable thumbs.
I mean, what storylines do you look at from before you were scriptwriting, when you were younger and you were gaming? What storylines appeal to you that maybe even have inspired you with your new scriptwriting lines?
Well, it's dangerous. Whatever you say, somebody didn't like it. Right. So, you know, the things that I've liked that have really struck me, and I'm always going on about it, and it really does divide people, is Shenmue. What Shenmue did was it decided, I'm going to bore you on purpose. Yeah. So when I give you something important, suddenly it's the most important thing in your world.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things that I admire. It's not necessarily about saying I want to bore people on purpose. It's about doing something that is courageous.
Yeah.
This is a media where the format hasn't been set. You can do anything. That's what's exciting.
Do you look to like older titles and stuff like that, and games how other games are looking, and scripts that are appealing to people, storylines that are appealing to people, or is it just a totally different creative path?
Well, I think that in terms of the storylines that appeal to people, I mean, we are still, whether we like it or not, at the moment, games are culturally led by movies.
Yeah.
So you get into this very weird paradox where people are saying that the scripts are rubbish for games, but this is kind of a convoluted example. But if you take a movie where there's a hard-balling cop who drinks too much and plays by his own rules, you think, God, that sounds really boring. That sounds like, if you read that on the back of a video box, you mean, no thanks. If you read that on the back of a game and you thought, I can be this cop, I can drink too much, and I can play by my own rules, suddenly it's exciting again. But the problem is that then trying to fit a script into that construct, you're immediately in cliche territory, because take it outside of the interactive world and it's a movie cliche.
So what do you do to avoid all these stereotypes then when you're script writing? It must be really difficult, because you need to sell it immediately, don't you?
It is very difficult. But there are stereotypes in life that are not facilitated by film. Yeah. And it's a case of just being very culturally aware about what is familiar without being cliche. Yeah. Those are important tools. But that said, there's an infinite amount of room to do something totally unfamiliar in a game.
It must be very difficult to come up with like a new kind of storyline and stuff like that. And obviously with the likes of Bully from Rockstar, I know it's changed its name now. What do you think like good ideas like that, are they great, do you think, or well, what's your opinion on that, in fact?
To be fair, I put my hand up, I say I haven't played it yet. Yeah, but yeah. I've met people that have, and they love it. And they're not stupid people. They're not there just to be able to kick ass. They're there because it's an intelligent game. The beauty of Rockstar is they're not afraid, because they're so rich. But the reason why they're so rich is because they weren't afraid. Yeah. So that's what we need to aspire to. It's not about doing something controversial, but it's about not being afraid to do things like, if you want to bore someone on purpose, so be it. You know? So what's your opinion on the likes of games? Obviously with them, I mean, obviously seems to be an extremism, seems to be a way of drawing people in rather than edgy and creative storylines, stuff like that. Do you think that's a cheap way? I would like to like Scarface going just so over the top with violence and language. Do you think, is that like a replacement? Because essentially it's just copied the film script. Well, the problem that Scarface had is that it was a game that was didn't really come from the movie. It came from people's perception of the movie. Yeah. There are people who have posters of Scarface up on their wall, and they think they know what it's about. It's about a guy standing on a balcony with a gun saying, "Say hello to my little friend." Scarface is a brilliantly nuanced and intelligent drama. It's not about having an M16. So that's the problem you face, is that I mean, to be fair, I haven't played it enough to know, but the drama is sort of put to one side and saying, let's capitalise on what these guys have it on their wall for.
Well, it starts from exactly that scene you mentioned, doesn't it? It starts from there.
Exactly. But the interesting thing is that with Haze, we started off with Apocalypse Now. We said, let's make a war game where it's not about the violence, even though Apocalypse Now and Haze is full of violence. Yeah. In a game, you shoot someone, you feel triumph. In every, pretty much every game except for maybe Colin McRae. But even then, I'm trying to steer into the barriers to run people over. That's life. In Haze, we want people to feel guilt, responsibility, emotions that, even though movies have been doing it for a century, it's a new experience to feel those things in the game, especially in an action game.
How do you kind of draw that kind of empathy from the character?
If you think about it this way, every war that has ever been fought in history was fought by teenagers, guys who are like 18, 19, 20. That's what we want to bring out in Haze. We want people to acknowledge that these are children. And not only that, when you shoot someone in life, doesn't matter who it is, that is some mother's son. But yeah, in games, we shoot 1,000 people in 1,000 levels and we don't care. So it's all about giving personality to everybody. There is no exception. And that's one of the reasons why they have a full-time screenwriter, is because you can't expect 1,000 characters to have 1,000 types of character unless you have someone there who is there to make sure that it happens. So that's what we're trying to do.
Now, there must be a piece of work that you were particularly impressed with when you went, that was good, that was definitely really good.
It was this novel where I think it's kind of cool. Right. Basically, there's this woman, this mother, she is helping the police find her daughter's killer through psychic visions she's having. Go with me here, Jerry.
I'm with you, I'm with you.
And the twist at the end, after a long and very exciting journey, is that in fact these aren't visions, but they're latent memories. And she's the killer!
Oh, you're joking.
Huh? Booyah!
Top one, top one. We've just ruined it now, though.
Yeah, that's not in bookshops right now.
No, I've got to ask you as well, obviously with Free Radical, is there much chance of another Time Splitters? I've heard it mooted, maybe a fourth instalment on the way?
There's every possibility that might happen.
You can't keep a good brand down, can you?
Well, this is it. I mean, there are a lot of crazy fans out there, and I would like to give a big shout out to the guy that I met in Austin, who was very obsessive and scared me a little bit, but thanks, man. I digged you. Dug you. Digged you, yeah. I'm alright, sir.
I thought you said did him.
Yeah, I did him.
I did him, done.
Don't tell Mum. We want to do Time Splitters, but at the moment we're having so much fun doing Haze, doing this LucasArts project that, if we can grow enough to put people onto that project, great.
Well, and I've got to say, you mentioned it, not me, but the LucasArts project, is there a chance it is Star Wars Battlefront, the latest instalment? Is there a chance that it could be that?
Well, it was a bold claim. Was it CMVG that said that?
I think it was, actually, yeah.
Claimed that they had a source. Right. Fascinating that they had. It sounds like it might have been a tomato sauce or an HP sauce, to be honest. It could be Star Wars, it could be Maniac Mansion, it could be Day of the Tentacle. You never know what it's going to be.
It's probably Star Wars, isn't it?
Who can tell?
Right, excellent, good try. Rob, thank you very much for chatting. I appreciate it.
May the force be with you. No.
Cheers, that man. That's great.
It's been gangster.